All right, it is Super Bowl Sunday, February 7th, 2016. Welcome to another lesson. Thank you for taking the time to study on the weekend. This kind of dedication is what is required to be truly successful. Um, we got a lot to talk about today. So, first, I have to talk about this. I posted a video yesterday, which has been kind of crazy, about our stocks to trade software. You have to go to stockstotrade.com, watch the video if you haven't seen it already, enter your name and email right here. And if you do that, you'll get 1 month free when we launch in roughly 8 days from now, officially. You know, there's already 150 people beta testing the software, and they're loving it and they're giving feedback. But in 8 days, it'll be officially open and ready for everybody. So enter your name and email. And you get the first month free and you get 30% off going forward. So it is one hell of a deal and you have 8 days to grab it. Secondly, I want to talk about this. Steve Harvey, that's awesome. Thank you guys again. I'm getting so many nice messages every single like hour. Just awesome. I'm writing a blog post later today with actually 5 things that I learned from the man, Steve Harvey, because he is just a phenomenal individual. Why is this not loading? So this Super Bowl, load, do it. There we go. So I posted this, I'm giving away another free copy of my How to Make Millions DVD, which you all should be watching. It's 35 hours long. It is the single most comprehensive guide I think ever created for actually how to making, millions of dollars. You get flack about it with the title, whatever. I have more millionaire students than anybody. I'm going to keep having more millionaire students. And it's not just about millions. Even if you swing and miss and you only make a few $100,000 with my strategy, that's pretty damn good. And a few dozen people a year are doing that. But with the Super Bowl, don't bet on it, okay? I know that you want to, and it's more exciting because then, you have money on the line, but you can't predict athletes, okay? I'm sorry. I have never met a consistently profitable sports bettor in my life. There's people who go on hot streaks, but overall, they cannot win 60, 70, 80% of the time because you're betting on too many factors that you have no control over, okay? Unless you're part of the mafia and you're fixing the game, you don't have an edge. With stocks, you have an edge. So this leads me into my first stock, XLIT. This is a blatant pump. I wrote a blog post about it a few days ago. This is a boiler room pump. There are boiler rooms calling people. If you've ever seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street or Boiler Room, they are pumping a stock exactly like this. This will go to zero. We know the end game. If you watch my video about teaching a few NBA players, and trust me, we have a lot more. I know some of you guys were like, oh, it's too basic. That's only part 1. Okay, these NBA players, you can't start them with, all sorts of advanced techniques. It was basics. Part 1, we have more coming. But this is a huge advantage. As I was telling them, you know the end game. You know this will go to zero. Just like if you know the end of a movie, you can pretty much guess how the characters got there. You might not be right 100% of the time, but you can at least play it back. We don't know what's going to happen with Facebook or even a supposedly solid company like LinkedIn. Do you know how many people were long LinkedIn and just lost 40% of their money? Everyone was stunned. You have analysts now downgrading the stock, being like, "Oh yeah, it's overvalued. Their growth is not as strong as expected." Yeah, no shit. Now that they've said that, you don't know what's going to happen with LinkedIn or Google or Facebook or any company in the world. What you do know with blatant pumps like XLIT is that it's going to crash. It's not a question of if; it's a question of when. And you look at this chart and you're like, "Well, who knows when, right? Like it's been pumped for several months now, and it could go back to the highs, it could go back to the lows. I don't know exactly when. This is not an exact science that I teach, but it's about getting the odds on your side. And the odds are on my side because as the authorities close in on these boiler rooms, This stock can be halted. This can crash 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% in a day. We've seen it before with pumps. So part of the problem is just finding shares to short. And I was very happy on Friday that Interactive Brokers gave me some shares to short because I think that it's getting closer to the end. You can see the red volume. It's getting stronger. There's more sellers. The longer it can't break this high of 140, I mean, this is a perfect double top, but now the latest bounce has only gone to 130. I'm not going to stick around if it ever goes back to 140, okay? I'm not just suicidal here and being like, it has to crash. There's a lot of wannabe short sellers who go, well, up with the ship in that case, where they just keep holding and they keep losing, you know? Remember PBMD, remember KBIO. A lot of these non-transparent traders who, quote, make millions, who don't want to show all their trades publicly, they get wrecked because they believe too much in or against a stock. For me, this is just a trade. But I do know that the odds are in my favor, and, you know, I'm probably going to cover for 10 to 20, maybe 30% profits. I probably won't stick around for the absolute 90% drop, but I do believe that this will be dropping in the next few days. Look at the pump PGSY. This thing collapsed. This is a lot quicker version of the pumps. I don't think anybody really found shares to short at the right time before the big crash, but this is what's possible. I want to show you this because look at this. This is a 60-cent stock. Look, it's uptrending every day. It's being promoted. People in, you know, middle America and financially naive people all over the world are buying the stock. Tim, it's not a pump. It's going up every day. It's real. And then it collapses 80% in 4 days. I've seen it so many times. MGT was a pump that I shorted. I actually caught nearly the top here. Interactive Brokers, again, had shares to short. I shorted at 53 cents. It is now down 50% in 3 days. I covered too soon. So this is a very good pattern. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when, and you just have to try and short at key times. And that is what my DVDs and video lessons hopefully teach you, not just to short randomly, like, oh, it's a scam, let me just bet. No, wait for key indicators. So today I want to do a video lesson. You know, 9 stocks to watch, yes. 9 grade students, yes. But also lessons from 9 million views on YouTube. Kind of crazy. I just looked at this because there's all these internet marketers. They're like, oh, I just passed 1 million views or 2 million or 3 million views. And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, that's fucking pathetic. You know, I'm at 9 million views. I don't even do, you know, that much YouTube videoing. And it's crazy to me that there's 9 million views now on YouTube. So I want to celebrate that with some lessons. So this is number 1. You know, shorting pump and dumps and buying earnings winners, that's my bread and butter. That's where I've made the majority of my money. These are patterns I've seen for nearly 2 decades now. You know, shorting XLIT I'm very comfortable with. MGT might not have been my biggest money maker because it was such a, you know, low price stock, but I was very comfortable with it. And I actually nailed the short. You know, I definitely covered too soon, obviously, but I nailed the short. And people are asking, how did you know? Because it's my bread and butter. It's my comfort level. And now I'm also long CTRL over the weekend. CTRL, I want to show you this. This is an $8 stock. I don't normally like trading higher price stocks like this, but this is my bread and butter. You can see here over the past 100 days, it clearly had a top here at 788 and a top here at 788. So 788 is massive resistance, and it's not random because, oh, look, the low here was like 780-ish, okay? So when you have a low, this is a classic low all the way back from October, and then you have a double top. I mean, 780-ish, 790-ish, you know, it's not an exact science again. This is a key level. So you want to watch that level like a hawk. Can it break out past it? And it closed at 808. So you have a slight breakout. But let's look at the intraday chart of CTRL. It opens at 790 and fails immediately. And then it comes right back. And look what's happening midday. I'm not a big fan of buying midday breakouts, but I was watching this and, you know, it basically broke out, you know, past this 780, 790 congestion zone from the past few months, and it went all the way up to 850. And then it came down again here. Oh, what does it come down to? Look at this, 790. Okay, this same freaking key level that has been important for the past 4 months. So 780, 790 is this key, massive motherfucking level that you should pay attention to. So I bought this stock not even because I think, oh, this is going to go like double or anything. Like, it's not that volatile of a stock. I'll probably make 20, 30, maybe 40, 50 cents a share at most. But at the same time, I also trade in order to teach. And I knew that just by taking a position, I can explain why am I buying it, because it held 780, 790. And I was buying it, in here in the eights. It had actually gone up to 817 and come down here to 8-ish when I was dip buying it. So this is not something to chase, and I wouldn't be chasing this here in the 820s or the 830s or 840s or 850s. This might not even hold the breakout. It might have to retest 790, 780, maybe even 770 or 760 for, a few hours or maybe even a few days. But at the same time, because this was a move based on new earnings, I think this has a chance to get back to the next level of resistance, which is here, the mid eights, which is testing, Friday's highs of the mid eights and maybe going to 860, 870, 880. So nothing huge here, but I want to show you the lesson of buying earnings winners. I know this looks like a terrible long-term chart, as a lot of people have messaged me, but this is a very key breakout on good earnings. They increase guidance dramatically, and they're kind of in a hot sector, with these, controlling all your home apps with the internet. It's kind of new technology. It could catch fire. The story is there. Mutual fund managers will pitch this to their clients and say, look, we just invested in this next generation company. And it's all bullshit. The point for me is that it is a multi-month breakout, and I'm happy buying multi-month breakouts and shorting pump and dumps. So recognize what your bread and butter is. For me, that's this. Here's Bob Garrett. He's one of my longtime students. He's also made several $100,000 over the years. He covered MGT, 10,000 shares, 9 cents a share. So he made $900. This is from the other day, and he says, thank you, Tim, for opening my eyes to shorting stocks. It's my pleasure. Remember, 90% of people, 95% of people don't even know that you can make money when stocks go down. A lot of people think it's illegal to short low-priced stocks. It's not. You just have to find a borrow. Interactive Brokers is best for stocks under $2 a share. Lesson number two, there's not just one right angle to play a stock. A lot of people, are in these chat rooms where everyone's doing the same thing, and it's very much groupthink, and it's like follow the leader. I'm very proud of the fact that that's not my chat room. I had one critic was like, I've never seen a chat room ignore, the guru's alerts so much. And like he was trying to put me down saying, oh, your alerts are bad. Your chat room doesn't even like it. And I'm like, that's because of the way I fucking teach. I don't want you following my alerts. And it's culture shock, and it's like de-brainwashing people who come from other chat rooms or newsletters who don't have as many millionaires or who have a lot of traders who have blown up in the past. And I want you to think on your own, okay? There's different angles. Sometimes buying pumps early works too. So here's an example. Alton Bell, he bought CLOW. This is another new pump. He bought it at 44 cents and he sold it at 55 cents. And he made, $2,000 in 2 minutes. That's pretty freaking sweet, okay? CLOW. This is another new pump. And he did a whole bunch of other trades too. But I just want to show you one example where you can buy it early, not necessarily, you don't just have to short sell. Where did I go? Okay, this is a very big example right here, especially in this market. You don't need home runs. Making singles, that's fine. Okay, do you know how much hate I got for buying AVXL at 420-ish? It hasn't even seen 420 now since I bought it in like 3 days. It's only gone from 440, 450, 460. I get messages like, you're helping the scammers. You're promoting. You're the devil. For me, this stock held support in the threes. It had a nice breakout here above 415, and I bought it at 420. That was it. I think I sold it. What did I sell it in? The 440s, I think? I don't know. I didn't even have to sell it. But as it turns out, it was a nice little 10% winner. That sometimes happens. You don't need a stock to double all the time. AQXP was another one where I bought it in the 11s. It actually went to the 13s. I only made like 40 or 50 cents. Watt, I bought it a few times and I only made like 10, 20, 30 cents. I was really right the first time for, the stock spiked nearly $2 a share from my entry. And then the second time, I actually played it safe and captured the majority of like the 20, 30 cent a share move. But go for singles, okay? Never aim for singles, but accept them, okay? That's the difference here. I'm never looking to make 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 cents a share. I usually get out of stocks if that happens. Like if it's not, spiking as much. Watt did not spike as much as I want. I accepted that. AQXP, I probably should have had more patience. AVXL, there were a lot of shorts and the market was down and I thought that it would collapse and frankly it just didn't. So out of the three, I probably played AQXP the best, but I had profits on all of them because I accepted the singles that were handed to me. Here's another one, FIFO dude. I want to show you some students who are examples. He was in at 11.90 out at 12.41. The next day, this went to nearly $14 a share, but he made $500 in 3 minutes. Smoky Tree sold 2,000 AVXL 460, 1,000 at 465, $1,000 40 profit. Thanks for the alert last night, Tim. Bought 3K at 430. So that's pretty sweet, making $1,000. Again, this is not going to happen every time, but sometimes you have to accept that. And he sold pretty much at the top. So good job, Smoky Tree. Here's Vexa. And these are just, messages that I get in the chat room. I have so many more messages. I could do a whole, day-long video lesson on all those messages. But I want to just bring up a few examples so that you see it's not just me hitting singles. It's a lot of students too. And here is Vexla. Saying I sold partially AVXL 450 and 447. It can still spike, so it might be a good buy at the low 420s. Exactly. Don't chase. Okay? If a stock fails to break out a key level, you don't get more interested in it. You get less interested in it because it's not doing what you think. This leads me to number 4. You can never be sure to be right about a stock. Or I could say that differently. You can never be too sure about any stock, okay? Long-term success with your account is all about finding good setups with indicators heading in your direction. I can lose on any stock. I can be wrong on any stock. It doesn't matter that XLIT is a blatant pump. It might squeeze me. CTRL, it's an earnings winner. It's a multi-month breakout, but I could be wrong. Accept the fact that you can be wrong. Cut losses quickly. Don't let a small potential loss turn into a big potential disaster. Number 5, finding good setups, then executing them are key. A lot of people say, how do I get over fear of losing, fear of missing out? Study, study, study. Become best friends with these indicators and patterns, okay? I get a lot of people, their wives come up to me and they're like, Tim, I hate you and I love you because you're educating my husband, but I hate you because I hear your voice all the time because he's playing your video lessons in your DVDs. That's what it takes. I know sometimes I ramble, but a lot of this is just, getting your right mindset on track. But you need to really know these patterns inside and out. If you look at a chart of CTRL and you just see gibberish here, which is what most people see, you don't see the multi-month breakout here above 780, 790. This is a key breakout. If you study enough charts, if you study my video lessons and DVDs and webinars enough, you will start to see these. It's like Morpheus trying to show Neo the freaking Matrix. And when Neo does, he sees everything in code and he's, crushing the agents at the end. It's kind of like that, although it's not that complicated and you don't have to be the chosen one. You just have to study, if you get that analogy. Here's a good comment I got. Robert says, Tim, I wanted to thank you. I started out trading thinking it would be easy, but I definitely learned the hard way. But after purchasing your DVD, How to Make Millions, already had a great first trade after the DVD. I shorted CDRB today for a $300 profit. Thanks, Tim. Exactly. This is why I say get this DVD. Some people say, oh, Tim, you just push your DVDs. Yeah, I'm not pushing drugs, okay? I'm not a drug dealer. I'm an education dealer. I'm pushing education. These DVDs help you. And in case you think that I'm like doing this, oh, you just make all your money from your DVDs. This DVD all goes to fucking charity. I love it. My charity now has 7 figures in it because of this DVD. I don't do this DVD and I didn't make 35 hours for the fun of it. I do it to help you so that you understand the right mindset and the right patterns. So thank you, Robert, for that comment. Number 6, once you do get comfortable in profiting, nothing in the 9 to 5 bullshit rat race can compete. Here's a comment from 911 RN Trader. And he says held 400 shares of VHC overnight, which again, this is a little speculative, but if you understand it's speculative, that's fine. You can take a little more risks. We're all different people. And he was in at 483, out at 939. Nice $1,840 profit, more than I'll take home on my next paycheck from my full-time job. This is an extreme example. Again, I would not hold VHC overnight. They were in patent litigation with Apple. They turned out to be a winner. To me, that's a guessing game. But I do like this comment in the fact that you can really realize what is possible when you trade these stocks. That's an extreme example. I want to really footnote that, but I like that. I have a lot of other people saying, I'm making half my paycheck or all my paycheck or different portions of my paycheck. I probably should have highlighted that, but this one just happened literally Friday. So number 7, I will never capture the entire move up or down on any stock. The goal is to take the meat of the move. Those of you who have watched enough of my DVDs and webinars know this, but a lot of other people don't. They think that I'm trying to literally capture the bottom or sell at the exact top. That's not true, okay? Capturing the meat of the move does add up to millions over time. So here's an example. I got this from Edward TY03. And he shorted MGT 1,000 shares at 53 cents and added 870 more shares at 48 cents. Exited at 42.5 cents. And he says, I'm amazed about the precision you have on your entries. Your reading in the market is amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. But, I wasn't very precise. And when you commented on this, you were surprised that MGT dropped 20%. Little did you know, over the next day and a half, it would drop, 50%. So I had a very precise short alert. And if you watch the video lesson from that day, you'll see exactly why I shorted. But at the same time, I was way off on where the bottom was. So I was on the right mindset. I took the right trade. I executed it. I made a few $100 on a very small position. But it's not just about precision, okay? And I don't want you, I appreciate the comment. I know where you were heading with it. But it's not just about being the most precise trader. It's about being on the right path, putting yourself in a position to profit, trying to see which patterns are going to work best in which markets, and, trying to capitalize on it. Number 8, take it one trade at a time. Do not worry about the overall market or the future. Only focus on making your next trade as great as possible. Then after that, move on to the next trade. A lot of you are like, how long will it take me to turn $500 into $1 million? How long will it take me to turn 10,000 into 50? I don't know, okay? I don't think like that. I know that's not what you want to hear. I know financial advisors are brainwashed an entire generation into thinking that you can predict where you can make 8 to 15% a year on your money, which is all bullshit, and the whole entire stock market is down 10% this year already, thus screwing pretty much the entire American public. But if you want to be real and you really want to go for exponential gains, you can't predict where the market is going. You don't try to predict where the market is going. You can't predict where your account is going. You don't try to predict where the market is going or where your account is going, okay? You need to get in the right mindset. And I know that it's totally different from what you thought. And, I know that I make mistakes and sometimes I repeat myself or say the wrong words like I've been doing right now in the past minute. But at the same time, I know what it takes to make millions. I've done it and now my students have done it. So this is kind of a long lesson, but let me just read it. It is possible to make several $100,000 or even several millions of dollars within a few years with low price stocks, as proven by Tim Gertani, Michael Good, Mark Crook, Azimjan, Ivan, Sophian, Bob Garrett, and there's so many more. A lot of people prefer privacy too. I appreciate all these other guys who at least post transparently. It's so huge for so many people. You guys don't even understand how much inspiration is needed out there to actually study and, complete this quest. But you do need to study your ass off. Too many traders overtrade, they take crappy setups, they never become best friends with the right patterns, and they ultimately lose or give up and they say, trading's not right for me, I'm just not cut out for this. No. Watching a few videos here and there can help you, it can't hurt you to learn what other successful traders are doing. I've heard that they're like, Tim, I'm getting distracted by your strategy and your mentality. I'm going to focus on my own. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Okay? You learn from millionaire traders and you use what we have learned and what we show you and you implement it in your own strategy. You don't have to copy us. You don't have to show us, the exact same kinds of trades, but utilize this thought process. Okay? Watching a few videos, it's helpful. It'll help you become wiser, maybe more conservative. But my trading challenge now has 3 to 5 live webinars a week from the traders listed above. And my upcoming stocks to trade software will give you a definitive data and news edge over other less prepared traders. If you have any doubts, literally do not waste my time. I'm very, very grateful to everybody who has taken the time to learn. But seriously, thanks to Steve Harvey, Larry King, entrepreneur, Harvard, CNN, Forbes, Inc., CBS, CNBC. I mean, the internet, social media, Instagram, everywhere that I've been on, we are overwhelmed. I spend my days literally just trying to catch up on emails and messages. And, if you have any doubts, literally do not waste my time. It's okay. It's okay to doubt me, but at the same time, I have more millionaire students than anybody. And it's not just me who's overwhelmed. My team and I are overwhelmed. So if we're rude or seemingly rushed, it's because we know what it takes to make great traders. We know what it takes to create millionaires. And any incorrect mindset, attitude, doubt, breaking chat rules, you're out. That's the beauty of being real in an industry full of non-transparent frauds, liars, and fakes. And it is your choice entirely. I want more millionaire students for fulfillment, but yes, I can also get more qualified teachers this way. Okay? That's what I love, because it's not just about creating millionaires and then, giving them a pat on the butt and making them leave. Okay? This is a community. We have nearly 100,000 traders now on Profitly. And I'm very proud that several of my millionaire students and a lot of my students who are upcoming millionaire students have taken the time to really, pay it forward and give back to the community with their precious time with video lessons and webinars and mentoring, So I'm not just creating millionaires for the sake of creating millionaires and testimonials. I'm also creating millionaires to get help, and reduce my workload. People are surprised by this. It's not just about creating millionaires and then having them go off on their own. It's about, creating this kind of really tight community where we're all trying to profit, we're all trying to learn, and we're all trying to help each other. And I know that's kind of a selfish, thing to be. Like when you become a millionaire, like I want you to try and help, and I'm like, well, please, give back to the community. I guess that makes me selfish, as some of my millionaire students have claimed. But I love this, and I want more people to be able to experience this. This is not just about the money for me at all. We're trying to tackle an industry where most people lose. And most people are frauds. You hear the word penny stock, and you're like, oh, it's just a wolf of Wall Street. They don't study. They don't see the ins and outs. They don't see that, rule number one is to cut losses quickly. So if you have any doubts, don't study. Don't waste my motherfucking time. I'm sorry to swear, but I have to be, honest with you guys, because there are students who do want my time, and that is who I should be focusing on. Not someone being like, well, I still have these doubts. I'm like, go watch some video lessons. And they're like, no, I'm not going to watch video lessons until you answer the... That's not how it works, okay? I have so many video lessons, so many students, so much that I want to do. But it takes having the right mindset. So I'm going to continue making these daily video lessons. I'm going to continue making trades. I'm going to continue trading with a small account. CTRL, if someone claims that I'm trying to pump it, I have a few hundred shares, okay? And it's traded, 1.2, 1.3 million shares, okay? I have a few hundred shares. I am not doing this for the money. I am doing this for the educational value with my small account. I did open up a bigger account too. Sometimes, I just want to go big and I want to trade and I want to feed my ego and addiction. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm not perfect. I do want to trade every now and then. But for this one, this is an educational example. XLIT, I have what? A little over 8,000 shares, probably my guess, if I have to guess what I'm going to make on this, I might make 1,000 or 2,000 at most. I'm not going to stick around. I'll probably, get out too soon. But at the same time, I want to show you these patterns so that, I think probably the best phrase from this video lesson is this. Where was it? Damn it. This. Become best friends with the indicators and patterns. I know there's a lot. I know you don't want to study, but at the same time, the more you study, the more you learn about earnings winners and pump and dumps and everything in between, you become best friends with them. And what do you know about your best friend? Whoever they are in life, you can kind of predict what they're going to do in a situation because you know them very well. I've never used this analogy before, but I think this works. Become best friends with these patterns and indicators so that you can predict what they're going to do better. That's the key. And again, I only win, roughly 3/4 of the time. And a lot of the time, even though I'm winning a very small portion compared to the potential. So don't feel the need to be right 100% of the time. Accept the fact that this whole game is just trying to get the odds on your side. The reason why I brought up this Super Bowl is because you can't have the odds on your side. There's too many factors. There's too many things that you can't control. You have Cam Newton's past performance. You have Peyton's past performance. You can see that. But everyone sees that. You have no edge over any other person betting on the Super Bowl. And that makes it a low odds affair. No different than the, Powerball jackpot, which has even worse odds. You have no edge. The key to success is having an edge over other traders. When you look at this list of millionaires and upcoming millionaires, where was it? Tim Grittani. His edge is that he works harder and he has more spreadsheets than anybody. He knows, if you trading challenge students who have watched his webinars or those of you who have Tim Grittani's DVD, you know how much preparation he puts and how much tracking he puts into every single trade setup. So he's not just gambling like most people. Michael Good, same kind of thing. When he's playing a pump, he's getting the emails optimized. He's getting it a few seconds before everybody else. He's getting news services. He's quick in and out, but sometimes he makes $25,000 on a trade like he's done the past few weeks, each of the past few weeks. I'm actually excited to see him tomorrow. Very excited to see him. Mark Crook, he's seen all of my video lessons 3 times. He's the one who categorized all my video lessons. Azam John is from a poor country in Eastern Europe, and yet he's taken 2,000 and now turned into nearly 300,000. Even though he's had losses along the way, he got crushed on KBIO. Look up his Profitly username. Let me show you this. I haven't even talked about him lately, and I should. Too many students these days, but this is Profitly. Look at this. He started with $2,000, okay? And now he's hanging around 230,000. And he was up to 300,000. And this was a big loss for him on KBIO. But guess what? In 2 or 3 years, he still turned 2,000 into over 200,000, which most people in finance would say is impossible. But guess what? He's been studying. Do you know how I know of him? He was an intern for me. He still sends me daily watch lists because he works hard and he wants it. And this is fantastic. And even though, he had that loss, he's going to learn from it. He broke the rules. He understands that. Both Michael Good and I were both short KBIO the day of the big spike. We each lost a few $1,000s. So Ivan, another one. He was on this Steve Harvey show with me the other day, and look at his Profitly chart. He's had some losses too. Losses help you. A lot of you guys don't realize that. Losses are part of the journey. He had this loss right here, and he thought about giving up. But he kept learning, and he kept trading, and now in a little over 2 years, 3 years, he's taken a very small account, and he's made $150,000. And he only trades part-time, mind you. A lot of people will look at this, oh, your student only makes $150,000. He's doing maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 trades a month, okay? He's living life. He has a nice place right on the beach. He posts pictures on Instagram if you follow him, Stock Realist. So There's many different ways. Sophion just crossed 100,000, and Bob Garrett, and there's so many more. But all of these people have found their niche, and that's what I want from you. I'm making this video. Thousands of people are going to see it, but only a few of you are really going to utilize these lessons to grow your account exponentially, and that's what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm looking for my next big success story, and I'm trying to give you the tools. Stocks to trade, a little over a week, trading challenge, 3 to 5 webinars a week. I'm trying to give you the tools to get you there, to give you that edge. So be there in the chat room tomorrow. We have a lot of plays. I'll do a watch list later tonight, but I wanted to get this video lesson out before the Super Bowl started. Remember, don't gamble. Don't bet on low odds scenarios. You're better than that, and your money is better than that. See ya.